I usually used to make these videos a lot, and I used to upload these audios so that I could hear them in the future. And it's kind of funny because the other day my girlfriend was listening to my old videos of old things I used to say, back then, and just kind of like dumb things that would come out of my mouth. But I guess I was younger, I was just a younger guy, and I didn't have basically a lot of understanding like I do now. Um, but it always made me feel good to be able to record this. And if I didn't have anyone to talk to, because basically, I just realized, I've been pretty lonely my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but part of my adult life. Um, Besides having one friend, a friend that basically we're not friends anymore. We don't really have that much in common anymore. I guess back then we just used to hang out a lot, and we were friends since high school, and we just really enjoyed, spending time together. But you know, besides that, I haven't really had any other friend, and it's basically just been um, who who my wife is right now. I used to talk to her all the time, but when I didn't have her, um, before I had her, I guess I was just like to talk to myself, or not. Basically, it's not really talking to myself. It's more like just having a conversation and having a one-sided conversation. Um, but it feels good to be able to talk, especially right now. Just going through some stuff. When I do talk to people, say my dad or my mom or you know brother or sister or just people in general in my life, because I do have a lot of people in my life, a lot of family um, that do care about me, and they do talk to me, but mostly I always hear the same thing from them. Um, Basically, I hear like, when I'm going through problems, it's always easy to just, tell someone that it's their fault, or that, that they asked for it. I mean, that's not really what people want to hear most of the time, especially when they're already feeling like shit about something. Um, and that's kind of like how I feel sometimes. Back then, I used to do these uh, kind of like videos, just post them. I mean, I never thought that anybody would listen to them. I never thought that anybody would even care. I would just upload them because I was able to upload them, directly from my phone, or on YouTube. But now that I think about it, back then I didn't really have problems like I do right now, and maybe it's because I do agree that it's my fault. People never want to agree that something is their fault, especially when they feel like shit about it, like I just said right now. I've had a lot of issues with these drugs, this NOS, this alcohol, and it's just gotten worse over time. And I really want to stop. I mean, I've asked for help, and people in my life help me, and they care about me. They do help me. Um, but besides going to like a rehab or someplace like that I would literally stay there. Um, I don't see how I could stop without just stopping. Like, I've told people that I've talked to, these past few days. I talked to my parents, my brother, sister, you know, even my girlfriend, my wife, the mother of my kids. And they always tell me that the way to stop is to just stop. You know? Recently I had these issues with my girlfriend, and I did go away, and leave I did leave her side. I left her alone with our babies. And I've done that a lot. But I also understand that I've been here a lot for my babies and for her too. And there's a reason why she does continue to love me. There's a reason why she wants to be with me. Because besides my mistakes, I do have qualities in myself that are really, they're good. And I know I'm a good person. Maybe not right now. Maybe not at this moment. I want to win a prize for being the best boyfriend or being the best dad at this moment. And I've been really happy with my life, besides the alcohol and the NOS issues. Besides that, and besides my work life, I really don't have anything to. I don't have anything to. There's nothing that I can complain about. When I look at everything that I do have, everything that I do have in my life, my kids, my wife, and my family, I feel guilty sometimes by how good my life is. And I don't know why it is. I think it's because I made a mistake a few years ago. Well, I've made a lot of mistakes, but this mistake was one that I made about wanting to make kind of like my heart numb. I didn't want to feel anything. I wanted to be someone that was strong. My way of categorizing strong was not feeling pain or fear. And I embraced anger because I believe that anger helps you overcome your fear. And so, just want to change and be different. And I know that I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. And like I said, a lot of people would say, you ask for it, you you're choosing that. It's true. I do have the ability to not do these things that I do. It's it's all up to me, but I also try to understand this, that first of all, I'm not perfect, and it's not about being perfect. It's just about the struggle and being understood. And I believe like the person that understands me the most, and it doesn't mean that, you know, she understands me completely, but the person that does understand me the most and where I'm coming from is my wife. She understands what I've been through, and maybe she does understand why I do the things that I do or act the way I act. And we do have issues, me and her. We do we do have our issues because of the same way that, I act out. Sometimes I leave her alone with her kids. In the same way, you know, when I'm doing things the right way, I mean, I still had to deal with consequences, like her talking down on me, or, you know, talking shit to me, in front of other people. And most of the time I just stay quiet and I don't say anything. I don't say anything, and I end up just leaving one day, leaving her alone with her kids, and, you know, it becomes a cycle because when I do come back and she forgives me, but then the problems continue to the point where I feel like it's necessary to leave because of whatever reason. And and then when I do leave, the only way that I could be maybe alone, or at least deal with the fact that she's not here or I'm not there, even though I would like to be, um, it just leads me to go and consume that nitrous, that NOS, that fucking beer, whatever it is. And at the moment, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything at that moment. It's like it covers up my pain. And just realizing right now how lonely I feel, not having her here, not having my babies here. I do understand that maybe that's how she feels too when I leave. The only reason I can do it though is because when I do leave, I'm I'm doing NAS or I'm drinking. So it blocks all that pain. And it literally is pain. Because I have nightmares. When I'm completely sober and I'm not consuming anything, I have nightmares about actually being in that same position, you know? The same position that I am in right now, where I'm alone in this bed without my sons, without my wife here. It's the type of feeling that it's hard to go through. It's really hard to go through. And I know how this feels because before before I met her, I was actually very lonely, but I just never realized it. I never realized how lonely I was before I met her. And I have felt this. I have felt this now that I'm feeling it again. And I usually feel it when I end up alone because of my own decisions, you know? I feel it. It's just this feeling. It's just emptiness. Like, it feels like I'm in space. It feels like you're in space and there's nothing. It's just darkness. Like if I'm in outer space, like it's just darkness and I'm just floating in space and time doesn't exist. It's just me floating around in space by myself. That's basically the simplest way I can put it. And when I met my girlfriend, my wife, everything just changed. I felt like I actually had someone that cared, that talked to me, or at least listened to me. And I'm not saying she's perfect, and I'm not perfect either. We were never perfect, and we were probably never perfect for each other, but we ended up together, and I think that's what I always wanted, to be with her. And if I could have had it my way, or she could have had it her way, we would have done things differently. Maybe she wouldn't have done some things that she did, and maybe I wouldn't have done some things that I did also. It's just never perfect, but it can be as perfect as possible. I'd like it to be. And just the fact that I have to talk to this recording app, just like I had to talk to it back then when I used to make those little podcast videos, and those little videos where I would talk and literally nobody would see them. They have no views on the videos because I'm not like a YouTuber guy. I'm not famous. I'm not somebody that somebody else would want to listen to, except my girlfriend, you know? She's the one that was watching those videos and kind of like reminding me of all the dumb shit that I would say. But I mean, at that point in my life, I don't believe I was dumb. I just believe like I would just say things just to say them. So just remembering right now how it felt, that loneliness when I would be in my car. I would be working or doing some type of work or something, but I was lonely, and I never realized that. And I never realized that I needed somebody with me. I never realized, I thought that I was strong, being by myself, doing things on my own. For me, that made me strong in my eyes. But I believe the time I actually got stronger was when I got with that girl, with my wife. It was like it's like this emotion you feel when I would be asleep in my bed or laying down in a dark room by myself, which is literally this room here next to my new room right now. And I remember I would be in bed, lights off, TV off, just in bed, laying down, and I would get a call, and it would just make me so happy, just getting a call from her. And sometimes it would just be a call to just see what I was doing or if I was still awake or just to talk. And most of the time in our relationship with me and her, we would always stay on the phone all night, basically. All night. And ever since then, I haven't felt this type of loneliness. Only when I was in rehab. Because when I was in rehab, when I barely got there, I was new to everything. I mean, people already knew each other. Everyone was there, and there were so many people. But it still felt like there was nobody there. It still felt like there was nobody there. I haven't felt that type of loneliness. I feel that every time this happens, every time I leave, I come back, or, I can't be with her, she can't be with me at the moment. I just feel that, right now it's just so intense because I'm realizing that this is the exact same feeling I had at that point in time. This is 2019, 2020 vibes right here. I'm feeling. It's just hard to explain it. That's what it is. That's what that feeling was. And I can't believe how long I lasted with that feeling. And maybe that's one of the reasons why I started drinking more. I started smoking, drinking, things like that. And like, it all started with that loneliness. do remember times where I was sober. And those times where I was sober, I was, you know, I worked out, you know, I had a diet that I would follow. Basically, I had a healthy lifestyle. And I was also, you know, starting to get into a relationship with that girl. Um, I think that was just the happiest I've been in terms of not being lonely and having her, even though she wasn't with me by my side in my bed. I was still felt like she was there. And like I said, it was like the feeling just I would get when I would see her name pop up on my phone, FaceTime call or a phone call, video call. It would just make everything better. It would literally make everything better. That's the time that I would feel relief from this loneliness that I'm feeling right now too. And I'm also the type of guy that if I know that I did something wrong, like I do want to take some kind of accountability for what I do. And I do see certain consequences as being fair and being, you know, it's some consequences are fair. I do want to take some type of accountability. And right now I'm feeling like that's what I'm doing. I'm feeling this type of loneliness. And that's the same type of loneliness that I'm making her go through. Because when I'm not there, deep down, I still feel that loneliness. I still feel that sadness being away from her, being away from my kids. I still feel it. It's just blocked off by the drugs, the NOS, the alcohol. And when I do start doing that NOS, everything's just numb. And once I try to stop, whole body just feels cold. It feels like I'm shivering. It feels like I'm freezing. And that's why it's so hard to stop once I'm already started with it. And I mean, my girlfriend, I mean, she used to do that back then. She probably understands how it feels, you know? And we had a conversation today, me and her, and she did tell me, you know what, I'm stronger than you, you know? She's stronger than me because she was able to stop all of this smoking and drinking and NOS. Because back then, we were like basically the same, you know? You're trying to get a high. Trying to feel some type of high. And I mean, for a while, I don't know what happened to us. I mean, ever since I knew her, she always smoked weed. She always drank, you know. But something happened where we just both spiraled, got out of control, and started just getting into more more things, doing more things. Like Nas, we would do it together, you know. But she actually was able to, she was actually able to stop it. And for some reason, I still go back to it. And I wish the same way that I know that my family wishes, my girlfriend wishes, everyone wishes that I could just stop. And I wish that too. I wish that I had never had done that drug. I wish that I had never tried it. I wish that I wouldn't have drank, you know. I wish that I could be sober again, like how I was when I was younger, or like when I got out of rehab. I was sober. I was happy. It's just things that happen. And with my relationship too, the way I am. With my relationships, or with this relationship, basically, the one I'm in right now, I'm just super possessive and super jealous. I take it super serious. I take everything serious. And maybe, you know, when my girlfriend was younger, she didn't take it serious. She didn't believe it was serious, or she didn't think it was, you know, things were so serious where they actually are to me. Because I do know how to love. I do know how to love, and I've always loved her, no matter how she was. Because I've been through this too, where the one that was spiraling was her, and I was the one that was, you know, trying to keep it together, trying to at least accept the way she was, accept her the way she was, and give her an opportunity. Because I believe that she deserved an opportunity. I always saw the good in her. I always saw the good things about her. And now I'm on the opposite end. And I'm the one that's suffering with this addiction or this habit. Because I don't believe it's an addiction. I mean, Nas is an addiction, but I mean, you can stop it doing it, you know? And if you stop doing it, you're not gonna have serious withdrawals like if it was some type of drug, like, you know, like these hard drugs that people be doing. Like where people are actually in pain if they're not, if they're, if they're withdrawing. And I do thank God that I'm not addicted to these type of drugs, you know, these hard drugs, that I've never tried them. I just thank God because I'm not, that's not my thing, that's not my world. And this is an addiction. It is an addiction. But it's an addiction that's more easily controlled than these other addictions that, some people have for drugs like meth or, cocaine, things like that. And Nas is really addicting, but it's addicting at that moment when you had your last hit. You had your last hit, and that's your last one. You know, and it does feel like shit. And also, issues with my girlfriend. I mean, like I said, I don't think anybody is perfect. I don't think that we don't make mistakes. I understand that we make mistakes. And I have had my feelings hurt by her. And I've always wanted to get some type of treatment, but I don't know what type of treatment I need to get for that. I mean, what kind of treatment would you get for a heartbreak, Because you hear it in the music all the time, in movies, you know? In these music that comes out in the radio, like talking about how you cure a broken heart with alcohol, you know? Like I do understand that there's therapy for there's therapy for, trauma or for, some type of a mental issue. But like what kind of therapy is there for? Hold on, okay? So I mean, I know there's therapy for a lot of things. It's just what kind of therapy would I need? Because I know what hurts me, And it's not like it's basically me feeling like I wasn't enough, And I'm a pretty confident guy too. Like I am confident. I do know that I have good qualities in me. But I literally was made to feel like I was nothing and literally compare myself to just people I shouldn't be comparing myself to. And I know what I know what it is. I know that my girlfriend, she's not perfect. And she did hurt me. And to this day, probably I still haven't gotten over it. And yeah, I mean, I do hear it all the time, like, yeah, that was years ago, all this stuff that happened years ago, and it's still causing me pain. And like I said, I don't know what type of therapy you need for that. Because when I did go to therapy, I would talk about my relationship. And it was always about, um, what did I do, or it's the drugs or the alcohol. But I know that there's certain things that lead me to go do that. So what I want to do, if I ever could, is I want to get to the main root of it. And there has been times where, I try to talk to my wife, my girlfriend. I try to talk to her about things, and she has told me before, you know what, like, I'm not your therapist, I'm not your psychologist or your counselor. Like, I'm not that person, and I do understand that because there's things that are, like, hard to solve, you know? This, these issues that I've had, besides the alcohol and the drugs, like, the stuff that I feel, um, it's still there sometimes, and even though I can block it off and I could forget about it, it always lives in the back of my head like a thing, like a little like a little like a little spirit or a soul that's just there. And I want to get rid of it. And what type of help would I need for that? What type of what type of treatment can I get for that? It's like this treatment, like, if there's a treatment for addiction, sometimes there's no treatment for stuff. Like, I wish I could just take a pill and it would be gone. I wish that I could take a pill and not feel that pain anymore. Because the same way I was telling you about how my girlfriend made me feel so happy, when I used to talk to her, when I used to be, like, started getting to know her and all that. It was happiness that literally, like, I would get out of bed super happy, like, go to work. I would talk to her and I would feel like everything was good, like, and at that time, I couldn't be with her, like, all the time. We couldn't be together, like, always, even though I would have wanted to. But the same way that she made me feel super happy, like, I also got my heart broken, like, and I never thought, like, I would get my heart broken like that. I never thought, especially by her, I never thought that would happen, and all the things that we went through, and all the things that I had to go through, because I had to go through things on my own. Like, a person like her, like, she always had, she's female, you know, and females are always gonna have support by anybody. It could be a random person on the street, a random guy is gonna support her because she's a woman or a girl, you know? Her mom, her family, even her friends, you know? Like, her friends are literally gonna try to hook her up with another guy, you know? Like, it's just like me, I had to go through things on my own. Most of the time, I ended up being lonely. It's just loneliness. It just felt like shit, you know? So, her being a girl, being a female, I mean, she gets all the support she can get. She can get all the attention she wants, you know? A beautiful, young, attractive girl is worth so fucking much to a lot of people. A fucking guy, a man, a regular fucking man like me, there's a bunch of us, you know? Like, it's just a bunch of us. I know I have qualities that she she likes and she loves actually. She loves me for it. She actually loves me for me, you know? Because I'm an attractive guy, but my looks aren't, you know, the whole thing is basically the way I am with her and the way she feels that I love her. I know she does. And yeah, I do feel bad for a lot of things. For a lot of things that I've just always wanted someone to understand me and just understand my pain and not try to belittle it and just understand it, you know, without telling me that it was my fault or that I asked for it, you know. And I've never been able to get that, you know. And I have got that a little bit from her, you know. She does, you know, understand me and she does acknowledge the fact that, you know, that I was hurt by her in some type of way. But there's always a but. There's always a but this, but that. And I've always wanted to not be a but at all. Just acknowledging like maybe I'm not crazy, you know? Maybe I'm not psycho. Maybe I'm not, you know, there's something wrong with me for feeling a certain way. And when I do talk about, you know, being hurt, I don't want to talk about like a certain a certain situation, a certain thing, a certain someone, a certain person, a certain event, something that happened. I just want to talk about at least, am I being understood? Am I valid, you know? Just want it to be validated. and just kind of like I've learned to not try to understand a lot of things, because if I try to understand, for a certain reason, like, for example, try to understand why somebody would do something, a certain thing, why somebody would do this and that, like, I've never been able to until I just gave up. I just gave up trying to understand. I would stay up a lot of nights. A lot of times that I've been by myself as well. Then I had to figure out things on my own. And like, I'm not saying like anything about anything that she did, just figuring out certain figuring out certain things in life. Because ultimately this is what I'm going through right now. It's life. Trying to figure out things that maybe someone could help me out with. Someone like a professional. But like I said, I don't know a type of professional that deals with heartbreaks. When someone just makes you feel like you're not worth anything, or that them hurting you doesn't matter. I made a lot of mistakes too. I'm not saying I didn't. And I still make mistakes to this day. Just right now, I made mistakes. I just want to be able to fix it. I want to rewire my brain so that I could learn how to be a good boyfriend, a good dad. I want to be normal. And then sometimes it just gets me mad that I can't be normal or that I'm not normal. I see people that are normal, people that are with their families, they go out, they they do things, and it really does get me mad seeing that, because that's what I want to be. Back then, it used to get me mad seeing people out here with brand new cars, with jobs, with money, because I didn't have that. So I literally had anger towards that. And that's basically just called, I guess the word for it is basically like jealousy. Jealousy and just anger. I want I want things. I wanted things. Like, I wanted things that I couldn't have, or that I didn't have at that moment. And that had to do with the way I felt about myself. Like I would just like see like my girlfriend getting picked up by guys in their cars or getting dropped off by other guys in their cars, going to hotel rooms, smoking, getting bottles, doing all this stuff. Like at that point I didn't even have a car, and it just it just feels like shit, like you're getting left out, you know. And I've learned to kind of overcome that because now I do have, you know, a way that I make money, which I don't make that much money, you know. So it kind of still does bother me just seeing people with their, you know, with their jobs, with their stuff, you know, when they get their paychecks every week, you know, and it just makes me feel like I'm honestly like I can honestly say that I'm just scared, and maybe I haven't said this. I'm just scared of being like left again, of being left by my girlfriend, leaving me for someone that, you know, in this situation, like in the situation back then, it was like she would leave me and go with another guy that had a car, you know, that can pick her up, that can take her, you know, over here and over there, you know, like, and I'm just scared that, you know, I know that now she's not going to leave me for someone that, you know, just because they have a car or just because they have weed, you know, or just because they have uh, money to buy things like alcohol. Like, I'm just scared that I want to be able to be enough. You know? Like, I don't want to be the guy that doesn't can't provide for his family, that can't provide for his wife, for his girl, and that I get left for that, you know. So I do stress out a lot. Well, I know that she wouldn't do that, you know. I know that she wouldn't do that to me. I know that she won't leave me, but it's just deep down in my heart and my brain. It's just what I feel. It's just I'm scared. So I'm scared to lose my things, you know. I'm scared to lose my truck, my car, any type of vehicle that I have, because I know how it feels to not have a car and just wishing that, you know, you could at least pick this person up, pick her up, have her with you, you know? I can honestly say that basically I'm just scared. I'm scared to get heartbroken again. And maybe I'm always on defense mode, you know? Maybe I'm always just on the defensive mode. Oh, And I do get mad a lot with with my girlfriend, because there has been times where, you know, I have like I've never been stingy with my money, especially with her. I was always like just wanting to buy her things, give her everything that she wanted. Basically, because I just felt like that's the type of love I was supposed to give her. Just monetary money, monetary love. Where in reality, the type of love that I need to give her is this type of love that's unconditional. The type of love that's love no matter what. And she deserves that, I deserve that. I usually used to make these videos a lot, and I used to upload these audios so that I could hear them in the future. And it's kind of funny because the other day my girlfriend was listening to my old videos, of old things I used to say, back then, and just kind of like dumb things that would come out of my mouth. But I guess I was younger, I was just a younger guy, and I didn't have basically a lot of understanding like I do now. Um, but it always made me feel good to be able to record this. And if I didn't have anyone to talk to, because basically, I just realized, I've been pretty lonely my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but part of my adult life. Um, Besides having one friend, a friend that basically we're not friends anymore. We don't really have that much in common anymore. I guess back then we just used to hang out a lot, and we were friends since high school, and we just really enjoyed, spending time together. But you know, besides that, I haven't really had any other friend, and it's basically just been um, who who my wife is right now. I used to talk to her all the time, but when I didn't have her, um, before I had her, um, I guess I was just like to talk to myself, or not. Basically, it's not really talking to myself. It's more like just having a conversation and having a one-sided conversation. Um, but it feels good to be able to talk, especially right now. I'm just going through some stuff. When I do talk to people, let's say my dad or my mom, or you know, brother or sister, or just people in general in my life, because I do have a lot of people in my life, a lot of family, um, that do care about me, and they do